Here, I say, put this on and we'll both be safe. Can you tell that I am shaking? You look at the white cloth in my hand and say, with the smirk of a necktie, how are the flowers coming up? Last fall we planted seeds and bulbs, both of us bent on our knees, digging cool earth. Our bodies, I'd said, were like swans dipping heads under water. You said, like a kid learning to dive. We couldn't even agree on similes. The flowers are fine, I say. Please put this on. I hold out the fabric, the hem of some angel, what ghosts use. But you distract me with flower talk. Even the lilies, you say? Except the lilies, I say. I put the cloth over my head. Like this, I tell you. I am covered now, protected. I am a specter surrounded by white darkness, white noise, white air. And then you say it, what I've dreamed. Let's get back together. We'll learn from our mistakes. We'll never plant lily bulbs upside down again, you tell me. Hi, my name is Kelcey Parker Ervick, and that was the first half of my story called After the Lovers, which appeared in issue 17 of the Superstition Review. In this video, I want to talk in general about how art and stories can generate other art and stories through both inspiration and appropriation. And I want to talk in particular about my interest in the exciting relationship between image and text, both in this story, in which I drew inspiration from an image to create a narrative, and also in my book, The Bitter Life of Božena Nemcová, where I created images inspired by the stories I was telling. And here's a little preview of my book where I'll do a quick flip through where you can see some of the images that appear, collages, paintings, vintage photographs, etc., that I incorporate in the book. My story, After the Lovers, is inspired by René Magritte's painting called The Lovers 2, which was part of a series he created in 1928 of paintings based on figures of lovers. And what's notable is that in each of the paintings, you have lovers either kissing or leaning into one another, but their heads are shrouded with cloths. And there are a few possible inspirations for this. One is a personal tragedy early in his life. When he was 14, his mother committed suicide by drowning, and it is said that he witnessed her body being removed from the river and that her face was covered by her dress kind of pulled over her face. But it's also interesting to note that Magritte's images may have been inspired by other images as well, including the pop culture shrouded literary character and criminal genius known as Fantomas, which I'll put up on the screen now. So here we have an image of the lovers, and here is Fantomas, who was first portrayed in a series of novels, and then soon after was in silent films. And you can see his shrouded face in each of the figures. As a writer, I find information like these sorts of influences really exciting because it's a reminder that even the most original artists, like René Magritte, draws on life experiences and popular culture. And when you look up Fantomas, for other things that character has influenced, here is just a partial list of those works. So for Fantomas, the covering over his face obscures his identity and allows him to get away with crimes. But as I imagined a story connected to Magritte's painting, I wondered what the purpose of the shrouds on the figures might be in the story. So while there are numerous interpretations of the meanings of the cloths in the painting, early on I honed in on the idea of the cloths as prophylactics of sorts, as coverings intended to protect the wearers. But then I had to ask, Protection from what? So I identified pretty immediately with the female character, and her first words rather desperately ask the male character to put on the cloth so that, as she puts it, they will both be safe. So thus my story begins before the image represented in the painting, like before they have any shrouds over their head, and then it will end with the kiss in the painting, and sort of the moment that immediately follows the painting. I explored themes and motifs related to the white cloths: death shrouds, ghosts and ghost costumes, angel clothing, flags, gloves, and then even prophylactics. As the story progresses, I became fascinated by what it would feel like to have cloths on one's head and how rough it would feel inside, how it would feel to press one's face against someone else's with the cloths in between. And also, of course, with the idea that once a cloth is over your head, you can't see anything. And so, like, what it's like to be blind and to just have your sensory perception altered in that way, and have everything reduced to that touch and that interior feeling within the cloth that is not very pleasant touch. So then in the final paragraph of the story, the syntax breaks down as the speaker's connection to reality breaks down. She doesn't know if she's dreaming or not, and this actually correlates to like the key idea of surrealism, which Magritte was a part of, inspired by Freud, that basically the surreality of the dream world is not only its own viable reality, but a meaningful space to explore. So here I'll read from the conclusion of the story. I can feel your hands on the back of my head pulling my shrouded face to yours, my cloth lips to yours. I am protected, but the threads of your cloth rub friction against mine, and if I am not careful, I will wrestle off my protection, my angel's garment, tear it in half, and wave the white flag of surrender, when what I should do is wave farewell, give up your ghost. But oh, how you kiss me now. Just like I dreamed you would in my dreams every night, how I dreamt until the night that I stopped dreaming for fear that I wasn't living, that I wasn't alive, that I was a ghost, that my whole life was just a dream of you coming back. What if I'm dreaming now? I haven't dreamed in so long, and maybe dreams come back like roses and blackberries after a cold, hard winter, like ghosts after we die. Do you like my similes now? How you kiss me, just like I always dreamed. Kiss me all you want, lover. This time I'm protected. Kiss me just like in my dreams. In my dreams you come back and you kiss me and I am protected because it is only a dream. But now you are back, are you? And you kiss me and I am protected by this garment like a dream. You can't hurt me. Did you really come back? Are you really here? How you kiss me. But is it real? Did my dreams come true or did my dreams come back? I can't tell with this thing on my head. Maybe you came back or maybe my dreams came back like a rose does, like ghosts do. You kiss me, and if I'm dreaming, and if I'm not dreaming, and if I'm not careful, I will surrender to your haunting because this white protected kiss tastes like a lily's brown bulb, and I don't want it anymore, this protection, this rag, this dream. I take it off. I only want your kiss, your thorns, your you. Oh, you, could you really be you? So that story was inspired by an image that was inspired by other images and stories. And I just want to briefly say a few things about my book, The Bitter Life of Božena Nemcová, which is about a 19th century fairy tale writer who was very famous in Prague and throughout the Czech Republic and Slovakia, and whose writings and life story have spawned numerous poems, plays, paintings, films, statues, and other works of art, including Franz Kafka's novel The Castle, which I don't have handy. I can't find my copy right now, but I can show you my Kafka tattoo. This is one of the sketches that he put in one of his diaries. And her image also inspired these photo montages by the Czech surrealist artist Jiří Kolář, which I will put on the screen now. These three collages by Yiji Collage are made from iconic images of Bozhena Nemtsova. In this last one, he uses a splicing technique that he named prolage, and which I borrowed to make this collage, which presents an ominous view of Bozhena Nemtsova's husband and a photo I took of the church where they got unhappily married. I created other works from materials that I gathered in my research. Photos of her lovers and quotes from her letters. That's this one here. Also illustrations from her books, vintage Czech postcards, signs I couldn't read, and others I could read perfectly. So my book has two main parts. The first part is a biography of the life of Bozhena Nemtsova, as told through her, as told through her stories, fairy tales, and letters. All these found texts that tell a story of her life. And then part two is called Postcards to Bozhena, and that is a memoir of written in postcards from me to her, of my language study in Prague, of my failing marriage, and of my search for a happy ending, a fairy tale ending, I suppose. So together, the two parts form a biographical collage, and I will end by reading one sample postcard. Dear B, in Czech class, one of the older Russians, Evgeny, and I were assigned to be dialogue partners, practicing possessive pronouns. We were told we were a husband and wife, manžel a manželka, in the process of getting a divorce. We had to create a dialogue about who was going to get what. Ta yata je jeho, the yacht is his. Ten dům je můj, the house is mine. To auto je jeho, the car is his. Ten diamante je můj, the diamond is mine. To dítě je naše, we shared the kid. A year later, I would begin the same process in Indiana, in English. In the passage I just read, I reconstituted a casual dialogue exercise from my Czech language class by connecting it to my real-life divorce. Hopefully this juxtaposition offers surprising and new ways of thinking about both experiences. All that I've been saying today about inspiration and appropriation draws on theories of art, such as Victor Shklovsky's defamiliarization and Salvador Dali's surrealist object, both of which are about presenting familiar objects in unfamiliar contexts to enhance our perception. More recently, David Shields articulates similar ideas in Reality Hunger, a book-length argument against both originality and against a constructed reality in narrative. And the entire book, the entire argument is crafted out of this collage of found texts. So I hope you enjoyed, and many thanks for watching. Thanks to Superstition Review for inviting me to participate in their Authors Talk series.